Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/MaliciousCompliance. In today's episode, the $12 potato. Boss wanted me to increase active phone time. The car the company still hates. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. The $12 potato. This happened last night, within 2 or 3 customers of another MC happening. Long story short, a man orders a baked potato with everything on it. Here at Mendy's, our baked potatoes can come with bacon, cheese, chile, shredded cheese, sour cream, margarine, etc. I explained as much to the customer, and he was none too happy. Look. When I say everything, I mean every tang. Like if you offer it as a topping, I want it on my potato. He then drove on through to the window, as I heard him curse my very existence. Enter Malicious Compliance. We made that baby with every topping imaginable. It was like a scene from Willy Wonka, sprinkling crispy onions, squirting honey mustard, slathering mayonnaise, bourbon sauce, and crumbling blue cheese. This potato was a monstrosity, and I would have loved to have seen the customer's face when they tried to eat this thing. I had to settle for the look on the customer's face when we intentionally waited until he was at the window to enter the prices, naming and adding each topping we put on. The cost? $12.86. It was fun to see his eyebrow go up a little more with each ingredient listed. I'm so glad all he ordered was the potato, so he could see what he did more clearly. Suddenly his trap was shut and he paid up, snatching his very heavy potato and hitting the road. The works, baby. Boss wanted me to increase active phone time. I had this job at the height of COVID that was primarily a cold calling / business development job. I hated this job, but didn't quit, because COVID. My boss was ridiculous and kept forcing me to be an independent contractor, and then switching me to an employee, when it suited him. He was a real jerk in a lot of ways, though. One day, my boss contacted me. I worked from home, and said, "You only brought on 21 clients in the last 3 weeks, and you have only been on the phone 50% of the time. So, you could have brought on more clients if you were on the phone more." I asked him what he wanted me to do. He said he wanted my active phone time to increase. He gave me no other instructions, such as bring on X amount of clients or make X amount of calls, so I decided to comply by doing exactly what he told me to. I found phone numbers that, when I called, I would have to listen to a menu that I would choose options from so I could be transferred. Many of these repeated, forever. Well, the longest one I found was an hour, before I disconnected. So, I would sit there, increasing my phone time, while listening to these menus and knowing I would never select any option. I would just indicate there had been no answer in my notes. I called these same numbers, every day, to make sure my active phone time had increased. I did this for more than a year, before I realized I was wasting my time, not accomplishing anything, and was completely bored. So, I quit. He, apparently, never caught on. The car the company still hates. In my previous company, we were required to drive leasing cars. The budget was based on your position, and I got myself a nice, fully equipped diesel car since I drove 200 plus kilometers a day. All was good for a couple of years, and the end of the lease was coming up. I was planning to get the same car again and found out that due to inflation the rates went up, but our budget didn't. This forced me to drive a model with a smaller engine and less options. So I talked to management because the difference was only €50 a month. The answer was no. I tried a few other things, but they kept refusing. After reviewing my contract, I found out that I was also allowed to drive a gasoline car. Although the company encourages the employees that drive more than 100 kilometers a day to drive a more fuel-economic diesel car. Cue Malicious Compliance. I went to my dealership, and after a few test drives and some tax discounts, they were able to get me a car loaded with options for a rate that was the same as a model with a smaller engine. To my surprise, the leasing form I submitted was approved, and 1 month later I picked it up and liked it from day one. Coming from a diesel car with a consumption of 1 liter per 20 kilometers, I went back to 1 liter per 11 kilometers. Add to this that gasoline was about 30 cents per liter more expensive than diesel. Fast forward 1 month, fuel statements coming in, and suddenly I'm the one who uses the most fuel in the company. Got called in the office to explain. So I did, and pointed out that the regulations stated that people were encouraged but not required to drive fuel economic diesel cars. And since they did want to do anything on my budget, I got myself a nice gasoline car. So saving €50 a month ended up paying €300 a month extra. Shortly after that, they closed this loophole. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.